What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Welcome into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabara here with Jared Smith. Jared, how was your Thanksgiving yesterday? Good turkey
It
day?
was yeah, it was good. I had the big, the turkey leg on my plate, which was always fun. I was able to grab that quickly.
Just one or
Yeah,
both of them?
you have to be quick when you're dealing with all the family members that are diving into the buffet. You got to grab it in there. But it was a very exciting day of games. The late game, not so much. But the first two games, I mean, say what you want about that first game. It still was pretty
Okay.
exciting. And the
Yeah.
Lions covered the spread again, which is that's their thing this year, losing straight up, covering the spread. The middle game was clearly the game of the day, but too many penalties. But it was an exciting day of football, an exciting day of food. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. I sat in my hotel room here in Memphis. It was great.
Okay,
Ordered room service in the morning and just watched football all day. So
doesn't sound
can't
bad.
complain.
That doesn't sound
Yeah.
bad.
And then we had like dinner at nighttime with
Okay.
actually the food was unbelievable. So I will say it was a good Thanksgiving. Good
They treat you
Thanksgiving.
guys well on the road, right? You have good, good service,
Yes.
good food, good. So it's tough sometimes when you're on the road. My heart goes out to you because I know that you were a little lonely in your hotel room, but I think that you're doing a service to all of the NBA fans out there traveling with the team
Thank
over
you,
for
Jared. I
Thanksgiving. You're
appreciate that.
welcome.
Thank you. It means a lot. And we also have a lot to talk about on the show today, even though there were so many great NFL games. Guess what? We got more football this weekend. And we also have oh my gosh, I just stuttered.
Everything.
I'm just so excited. There's so many games, so many sports going on. We have NFL, college football. We have the match V in Vegas between Brooks
Ooh.
and Bryson, the two guys that don't really necessarily like each other. But you know what? It's going to be a really, really fun, exciting matchup. We're talking that with Teddy Greenstein. Oh my gosh, Jared, I am like short circuiting today. I'm having a hard
Too
time
much
talking.
coffee. Take a deep
It's
breath.
okay.
You're okay. You got it.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
Cheers. I had my coffee. This is water. I'm on the water train now after my two
You're
cups
done
of
with your
coffee in the
coffee for
morning.
the day.
Well, I was up early today. Usually, I haven't been sleeping well lately. I need to it's because there's so many games going on. I'm so excited. I'm up. It's like 7 a.m. Like,
I know. I know you're really excited about your kick picks too. We're also taking it
oh
across the pond,
yeah,
talking a little EPL, English Premier League, and we can't end without our Pickswise play of the day. I am just so excited because Michigan plays tomorrow against Ohio
kind of a
State,
big game.
and I am so pumped up about this game. It's not even funny.
I'm leaning to your side this week. We'll get into it in a little bit, but
You
I'm,
are. I like
I'm
this.
I
I like this
know,
so
I
much.
know.
All right.
Yeah.
Without further ado, let's get it. Let's bet it. Let's start with the NFL. Obviously, 3 games yesterday, 2 exciting, 1 not so exciting. I lost my Turkey Day Jabbar leg
Ugh,
because of the Cowboys, but I
tough
won the
game.
other 2 legs. Very,
Dallas's
very,
defense
very
scares me.
sad.
I don't think their
Yeah.
defense is ready for the big time. I think Dallas, if I had to rank all those teams at the top of the NFC, Dallas is in the caboose right now for me because of their defense.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, they're in the caboose for me right now too because they lost me my bet last night. But you know what? It's okay. We're moving on to this weekend. We have college football week 13, NFL week 12, and we're going for it. NFL week 12, Jared, who stands out to you come Sunday?
So I gave out some plays on Pickswise Playbook for sure. Check out the show. We did okay with our Thursday Thanksgiving plays. The under in the Raiders game was a complete dud, but I got the Josh Allen rushing prop right, so it wasn't a total failure. Sunday's plays, I'm a little more selective this week. I have 2 picks
Okay.
on the Pickswise Playbook show that I really like. But again, go check that out. I do have a teaser that I'll give out on this show. And full disclosure, my teasers have been rubbish the last 6 weeks.
This week,
Absolute
there's only
rubbish.
one way to go.
Absolute rubbish. But we are on the up and up because I really like the teaser that I'm giving out this week. So I'm going to move. We do the basic teaser rules. Low total games, move through at least one key number, preferably 2, and don't tease totals. So that's always the rules that we adhere to when we're giving out our NFL teasers. And both of these games, I think, fit that category. Dolphins, I moved them from 2 to 8. Miami is at home against Carolina. So when I look at this game, big picture, you think, okay, Carolina, better defense, Cam Newton, but I don't really trust Cam. And I think what we saw on Sunday is they're not really ready to really expand that offense under Cam Newton. It's going to be a very basic vanilla offense. And when I look at the Dolphins, they've been playing pretty well. Beat the Ravens. I know they beat the Jets, but still going on the road, getting a win. Tua is, looking healthy. He averaged 8 yards per attempt, which is, better than usual for him. He's usually kind of under that number. And again, this is his only 18th career game. So Tua, I think, is still kind of in that, morphing phase, the, amoeba phase where he's growing into a more, stable quarterback. And I think he's playing pretty well. So we're going to move the Dolphins from 2 to 8. The other leg of the teaser is the Pats. And we're taking the Pats from 6.5 at 7 now down to a hook or down to 1. And this line's moved a ton from 2.5 now to 7. It makes sense. No Vrabel or no Henry, no Julio Jones. AJ Brown's nicked up. I don't think the Titans are going to be able to move the ball much against this Patriots defense. And I think the Pats win this game. So Dolphins +8, Pats minus a hook. That's the teaser of the week in the NFL.
I like it. All right, I want to ask you a question really quick.
Please do.
Who's the best offense in football over the past 8 weeks?
Points per game?
Mm-hmm.
Is it one of your picks?
Take a wild guess. Just out of left field.
I would say the Bills after last night because they've been scoring. They scored a bunch of points the last 3 weeks. No, but they got blown out by the Colts 2 weeks ago. But then they had that big game against the Jets.
Yeah, what team did you just say they got blown out by who?
The Jets don't have the best team. The
Colts.
The Colts. The Colts are the best offense in the NFL over the last 3 weeks.
Over the last 8 weeks. 8.
Okay.
31.6 points per game in that span. And because of that, I'm taking them +3 against
I like when you quiz me. I
know. Thank you. I'm taking them +3 against the Bucs this weekend. So anyone want to face this Colts team right now? They've won 6 of their last 8, right? With 2 losses coming after blowing a 14-point lead to the Titans, losing in overtime, and blowing a 19-point lead to the Ravens, eventually falling in overtime. So those weren't good, but 6 of those games were good. And we're looking at a team that could very, very easily be on an 8-game winning streak right now if it weren't for those 2 blown leads. They're being undervalued because of an 0-3 and 1-4 start, and they should have not been a 7-point dog to Buffalo, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was too many.
Yeah. The betting market is catching up a little bit now, and this is the only 3 points. I think this is only a 3-point spread, but the Colts are still at home. They have the best running back in football in Jonathan Taylor, and they're catching 3 points. I think over the last 8 games, Indy is averaging a league best 165 rushing yards per game, more than double that of the bottom 5 teams. That's really crazy. Running back Jonathan Taylor averaging about 120 yards on the ground, over 150 from scrimmage, 15 touchdowns during that span. I think he throws himself into the MVP conversation with numbers like that.
Wow.
I think that this game is going to be a good litmus test for Indy and Taylor. They're facing the defending champs, one of the top rushing defenses in the league. I look at what the Bucs have been able to do against the run. They've held teams to 78.4 rush yards per game, but that's up from 45.8 rush yards they allowed over the first 5 weeks. The past 5 games, you've seen Tampa give up 111 rushing yards a game. They allowed the Eagles, Saints, and Bears all go for over 100. That's the Eagles, Saints, and Bears too. So now you're going up against a team that has the best offense over the last 8 weeks. I take the Red Hot Colts plus a field goal in this one. I really, really like the Colts. And I think I've been right. Maybe not the biggest Carson Wentz fan, but I could be a fan of his right now. But I am a big Jonathan Taylor fan. I feel good about this one.
Here's the thing that scares me about this pick.
Hey, what is it?
It's 2 words, 3 syllables,
Brady.
4 syllables. No. Vita Vea. That's the guy that could wreck this game for you because if I'm here. I just hopped on the injury report. He practiced this week. He didn't play against the Giants. I think they were trying to save him for this game. But if there's one guy that could stop all of that nonsense by Jonathan Taylor, it's Vita Vea. I don't think your play is a bad play, but to me, I would be concerned with Vita Vea just shutting down the Colts running game and turning Carson Wentz into a one-dimensional quarterback on Sunday, and that could wreck this game. He could wreck this game.
They can't if they're not running the ball, they're not going to get it going.
And that's the strength of the Tampa defense with Vita Vea back in the line.
Then you also look at what they did the last 3 weeks, and they're allowing over 100 rushing yards to teams that maybe shouldn't have had 100 rushing yards. So
the Colts have been, or the Bucs have been kind of an anomaly. I don't think they're as bad as they played against Washington. I don't think they're as good as they played against the Giants. I think they're kind of somewhere in between. I don't know. I find it hard to fade Brady at less than a field goal. That's another one for me too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm going to tail this one on you. You're on your own here. You're on your own with this one.
Sometimes when you don't tail my bets, I've been winning them. So
that's true. And I tailed the Jabbarley on yesterday, and it went down in flames. So maybe that's the secret.
I know.
Sauce,
that's the dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Okay, I also like the Panthers Dolphins under 42. I think after what wasn't the best start to the season for Miami, they've kind of started to resemble their 2020 unit from last year. They were near the top of most statistical categories. They held down Josh Allen and the Bills for most of the game a month ago. Then they had a good game against the Texans, good game against the Ravens, shut down the Jets, which no offense isn't that hard to do last week, even though I'm betting on them next game, which stand by for that. But they allowed only a broken coverage touchdown and a short field touchdown. I think over the last 4 games, the defense is 3rd in the league in points per game allowed, 15.5 points per game, and 2nd in defensive efficiency. They've held quarterbacks to 30 QBR, 2nd best in the league, which is pretty good for their defense. I think, you look at a team like the Dolphins, and I think Tua's been playing a lot better. You look at a team like Carolina, Cam Newton's back. He's playing good, but make no mistake, I think the offenses are still struggling. Miami comes in 29th in yards per play, and Carolina's 30th. I really, really, really like the under in this game, under 42. I don't think the offenses are going to get going. The Panthers' defense has been pretty good all season. The Dolphins' defense is looking a little bit better. So I don't think
like
the
the Dolphins
offenses are going to
defense a
get
lot.
going for this game. What?
I like the Dolphins defense a lot. They've been playing really well the last couple weeks.
I know. So none of the past 4 Dolphins games reached the listed 42 total. I don't expect this one either. Just because they've started playing a lot better, and I don't think the offenses are really going to get going. So I feel good about it. Under 42. Let's go.
This one I would consider playing. I just like unders in the NFL. You and Glaze and Ortenberg, you guys, you love your unders, man.
I don't bet the under often, but when I do, I feel confident about it.
I don't bet this often, but when I do, it hits. 50% of the time, it works every time.
I'm also on your Jets this week. I like the Jets.
Oh, God. Why are you doing this to me?
The Texans.
I tried to bet this game, and our producer Jack basically told me I had to put in Jets timeout.
I know our producer Jack goes, Jared, you're not allowed to bet your team. Meanwhile, I'm betting Michigan every single week.
You're doing pretty well betting Michigan every week. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
They're 9-2 against the number this year.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We'll get to that game in a bit.
I like the Jets plus 2.5 against the Texans. I look at Ryan Tannehill. He threw for 4 interceptions in the upset loss to Houston. And the Titans fumbled the ball 4 times, losing 1 for a total of 5 turnovers to Houston's none. That's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion, for any team against any opponent. You just can't do that. Okay. Houston's offense, however, they're sputtering right now. They scored 10 fewer points than expected against the Titans after accounting for the down distance and field position of each offensive play. I just think the Jets, meanwhile, coming in with a 3-game losing streak. They faced 2 of the AFC's best teams in the Bills and in the Colts, which I love the Colts right now. The Texans are going to pale in comparison to them. The Texans are really bad, and I know the Jets are really bad too. This is kind of one of those games where I'm just like picking a bad game and making a bet on it.
This is your dumpster dive game of the week.
This is my dumpster dive.
I can't lay points with the Texans. You either bet the Jets or you don't bet this game. You cannot lay points with the Texans. I'm sorry. That's a hard and fast rule in the NFL right now.
Totally. Yeah. I know. The Colts, the Colts, they're not Super Bowl favorites, in my opinion, but they're intriguing bets. And now I look at the Jets. They have issues of their own. They rank next to last, and we'll have a rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson. He's back under center this week. Wilson, before suffering a secondary sprain in his PC on week 7, I think the Jets' production with him throwing the passes is on par with what Houston has done. I think both have scored 11 fewer points per game than expected, leading me to believe that this spread should be closer to a pick 'em. And with Houston laying a couple points, just like you said, I'm going to take the Jets in a game like this because you can't bet Houston laying the points. No. And you also really can't bet the Jets, but I am anyways.
You can take points with the Jets at times. Jack's going to troll me anytime I want to, but there's spots to bet dogs this year in the NFL. We've seen these games go crazy. Ridiculous results. So I'm okay with taking points at times with bad teams. You just have to pick your spots. And this is a good spot this week with the Jets.
You're not allowed to. So
I'm in timeout. I'm in Jets timeout. Even though one of the biggest upsets of the year when the Jets beat the Titans, I'm the one that gave that pick out on the Playbook Show, and Ross Tucker stuck his nose up at me, and everyone was like, "You're crazy." And the Jets beat the Titans outright. So despite my, green colored glasses that I'm wearing most days. I still call it one of the biggest upsets of the year.
They're green. They look silver. They look silver.
These are silver, but my eyes are green.
Oh,
that's why I wear green shirts to
Oh.
bring out my eyes.
Yeah, nice. Good job, Jared.
Thank
Way
you.
to go. It's a Friday. I love it.
Yes.
All right. Let's bring in our friend. Oh, I miss this guy. Senior editor Teddy Greenstein of PointsBet Sportsbook. I'm so excited to talk to him. Teddy, I haven't seen you in so long. How the heck are you, my friend?
Lauren, this is fantastic. I knew we'd be working together at some point. So great to see you. Last time I saw you, it was actually in the flesh, right? In Denver?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It
yeah,
was.
I'm great. I'm in Connecticut. I'm hanging out, getting a little family time in. Mixed bag yesterday with my NFL results, but was on Ole Miss last night. So
Nice.
Made for some sweet dreams.
Yeah. Who did you bet on yesterday for NFL? What do you
Yeah,
like?
NFL. So I had the Lions, but I screwed it up. I had the Lions first half line and not for the game. So that was unfortunate. So hit them in my pool, but no money. And had some DeAndre Swift props, which I know. So that was literally painful. As painful for me as it was for him. Then in the second game, I was loving the Raiders at 7.5, never made a play on it. And then it dipped down to 7. So I'm like, oh, okay, fine. I'll take Dallas. I know this is a trap, but I'll do it anyway.
That's exactly
Fell
what
into
I did.
that. But the biggest game I had was Bills. I got locked in at Bills -6 when Kamara was ruled out.
Nice.
I thought that was the easiest game. I felt dirty and horrible betting it because Trevor Siemian is my friend. Love him from the Northwestern days.
Northwestern
Hated rooting against him. Exactly. But had to do it. Loaded up on that one. Also hit a Josh Allen prop for rushing yards on the over. So ended up basically square for the day with Ole Miss money line over Mississippi State.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like it. That's a good Thanksgiving day. Some turkey, some money.
Exactly.
Why not? I'm all about it.
Great food and all square on the cash. Absolutely.
Sounds like a
All right, let's get into some college football because there's some exciting rivalry games this weekend. But before we talk about the games, I want to know, what team do you think has the most value this year to win the championship?
Well, I mean, if you're going to think that it's really Georgia or you're taking a flyer, right? I mean, that team is as dominant as any I've seen. We offered Georgia, we had a little boost on them a few weeks ago. Instead of the +100, we were offering them at like +130 to win the title. That would have been the time to pounce. Now they're maybe -140 or -150. I think you'd have to look at Ohio State. And I'm sure we'll get into that game today with you, Lauren and Jared. Yeah, but I mean, the way this team has played the last few weeks, obviously, a lot of people, the public, thought Michigan State +19 was the play last week, and that lasted for about 10 seconds. So the way Ohio State is explosive, the way CJ Stroud has come on, and the defense is decent, you'd say that those guys have a chance at least to beat Georgia. I certainly wouldn't think Alabama. This is just an average Alabama team, which means they're probably the third best team in the country.
Yeah, I would say Michigan and Ohio State is the game of the week for sure. And it's obviously drawing a lot of the handle. It looks like Ohio State's the public side, but I'll be honest, the line has kind of sharpened towards Michigan over the last 24 hours. And I wouldn't be shocked if this thing closes at 7. I think I would take, if I can get 7.5 with Michigan, I would try to grab it now because I don't think it's going to be around tomorrow. What's your take on this game?
Well, I'm dying to hear your take. I hate in rivalry week. I hate going with the public picks. I hate going with the road favorites. But I thought this line was going to be 10.5. So the fact that it's just a smidge over a touchdown surprises me. I just see Michigan as one-dimensional. Obviously a great rushing attack, two-pronged attack there. Haskins is so effective. McNamara, a decent passer, but I don't trust him to light it up in a big game at all. Ohio State, we've seen what they are. It's a great matchup here with the Ohio State receivers, especially Olave and Wilson, with the Michigan cornerbacks who are not great. And look, I've covered probably 15 of these games. So normally when I was at the Chicago Tribune, I'd be flying back on Friday, and then I'd be going to either Columbus or Ann Arbor. And after having covered all these games, like, Ohio State just knows what it's doing. I mean, they think about beating Michigan 365 days a year. So if they need Dwayne Haskins to come on, he's going to come on and do something. They always find a way, whereas Michigan, I think, goes into these games now lacking confidence and uncertain. So my Ohio State bets are -6.5 and -13.5.
I know it's so tough.
I want your takes, though. I really feel free to talk me out of it. What do you guys think?
I think
Michigan covers. I think Michigan covers.
Tell me.
I do.
Why?
I think that Michigan lacks confidence because they haven't won since 2011. This is the first time that they're both in the top 5 and played against each other since 2016. So I think it's going to be one of really exciting games. It's one of the best rivalries, in my opinion, in sports, and it's drenched in intrigue, if you will.
Drenched in intrigue, just like your gravy was, just like your turkey was drenched in gravy yesterday.
Exactly. Yes, I did. Yes, so good.
Oh, that's my favorite band, Drenched in Intrigue. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, Drenched in Intrigue. CJ Stroud, had his Heisman game last week. What was it? 6 touchdowns in the first half against Michigan State. That was just an absolute bloodbath. And I think we saw what Ohio State's capable of when they crank up the intensity. But at the same time, I think that this is the year that Harbaugh is going to conquer. Harbaugh conquer his greatest demon. It's a tall order this week, but I look at what Michigan's able to do. I think this is the most complete Michigan team that Jim Harbaugh has had. I think they have an excellent defense, excellent pass rush, and I think they have yet to face an offense even closer to the caliber to Ohio State's caliber. But at the same time, I think that Michigan's defense is good enough not to like shut down CJ Stroud, but I think to at least limit Stroud and keep this game close. Here's the thing. I think Ohio State also hasn't been challenged physically as much as Michigan will challenge them this week in terms of the defensive side.
They were 1 week and they almost lost, and that was against Penn State.
Yes.
And Penn State didn't have the consistency on offense to really push.
We need a quick plug from Jared from his alma mater.
But that was the closest game they played, in a while. They were down in that game, and they got a scoop and score, and that kind of tilted that game on its head. But Penn State was physical at the line of scrimmage. DeChambeau and Hutchinson are going to be the 2 best defensive front linemen that Ohio State's faced all year. So I think they're going to give Stroud some problems. I think that'll be the difference for me.
Here's the thing for me. I think that if the Wolverines fall behind, they're going to have to abandon their strength in an effort to just keep up. Yes. So they have to stay with them. They can't fall behind in a game like this, because as soon as they do, it's over. If they're running neck and neck the entire time, I think that this game is going to be really close. I think that they're going to rely on the run game. If Cade McNamara doesn't lose them the game, I've said this the entire season. He's not a quarterback that's going to win your team a game. But as long as he just is there and doesn't lose your team a game and is just consistent, then they can rely on the run game and hopefully take advantage. I'm sprinkling on the money line too, but that's more of a heart bet for me, just because I'm modern.
Aren't you falling into all the traps you're not supposed to do as a bettor?
I'm the unbiased
like over
one here
Jared's left shoulder. It's all about believe. I don't think you really if it was your last dollar, I don't think it would go on Michigan. You just want it.
It would. So it really would.
I'm willing it to happen. I'm manifesting, Teddy. Okay.
I'll be honest. I was impressed with McNamara's performance in Happy Valley. That was a tough atmosphere, and they won. Yes. He won him that game late. He made all the throws in that game, and this is when the line moves like this, and then it starts to sharpen up, despite the fact that everyone's on Ohio State. To me, that's the red flag enough to where if you're getting over a touchdown with Michigan, I think that's a smarter play tomorrow. I do.
It's always such a great debate. So do you guys tend to go where the line is shifting? So, for example, Nebraska, Iowa. So this is, or I should say Iowa, Nebraska. Exactly.
I don't even know what to make of that game.
How is Iowa not favored by
6.5
points?
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense.
I'll give you another one. Right into the trap.
Kansas State, Texas. What?
Makes no sense.
How is Texas favored in that game? Now, I'll be honest. The markets give you the answer key sometimes before the test starts. So with those games, with Iowa and Nebraska and Kansas State, Texas, markets begging you to bet Kansas State and Iowa. And when those casinos nice and bright and shiny out there in Vegas for a reason, Teddy, you know that. I don't fall for that bait. I would rather lose on the sharp side than win on the public side.
But the key word you said a second ago, Jared, was sometimes, because
once the ball
there
gets
are
kicked
so many
off,
times you fall into these traps and you're like, I'm an idiot. Right. The house knows what they're doing. Like with the Super Bowl, when they were begging you to bet the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And there are other games this year. And I remember one, Iowa State. And I said,
I fell for that trap. Line. I was on Iowa State.
So you took Iowa State. I was on Iowa. And then there was another one that I think of this year. The game at Soldier Field, Notre Dame, Wisconsin. And I said, the wrong team is favored here. What am I missing? And Notre Dame slaughtered them, thanks to a bunch of turnovers in the second half. So
everyone was on
I would rather go down swinging with what I believe versus what better should be
I think in the college markets, because the games are more volatile, I think I'd be more inclined to go down in flames with the side that's blatantly obvious. In the NFL, the markets are super efficient. So they tell you, they paint a more accurate picture, I think, in the NFL markets. In the college markets, these games are nuts. They're 18 to 22-year-old kids. You have no idea. The NFL, and I know the NFL has been unpredictable this year too, but I think the markets are a little more efficient. I think the line makers do a better job in the NFL than they do in college because there's more data, more information, and the lines are just more efficient, I think.
I don't know if you guys do this, but I mean, I predict all the lines in all the NFL games and most of the college games. And within the NFL, there might be only one game during the week that I'm not within 2 points of because they are what you expect. But then in college, absolutely,
wild.
Why do the bettors have faith in Texas this week? Why would they have any faith in Florida?
No idea.
Why would they have any faith that Nebraska can actually beat Iowa? I mean, Nebraska is starting an inexperienced
freshman named Smothers. Good luck.
Smothers, who's not very big.
Who
against an Iowa defense that wreaks havoc
Top
and causes turnovers.
Defense. And they're favored.
They turn everybody. They turn even the good quarterbacks over. Makes no sense.
No sense.
Oh my God, you guys!
Smothers. I have a buddy, and you probably know him, Tim Murray, who works out in Vegas. He does this thing, embrace the, and we were going back and forth all morning. He messaged me because he's on the East Coast for Thanksgiving. He messaged me at 7:30 a.m. He's like, I have to bet Nebraska just out of principle. It's one of those. The Nebraska line is the weirdest line of the season, and we've been doing this for 14 weeks, Teddy.
That's right.
It makes no sense. Smothers. Good luck, dude. Exactly. Good luck, Mr. Smothers, against that Iowa defense. I don't know how to explain it.
If you're making a case for Nebraska, you look at Iowa. Petrus is out, been out for a couple weeks. So the quarterback Padilla had brutal numbers last week, 6 for 17 against Illinois. But you're still talking Tyler Goodson, who's been rushing the hell out of it. So
and it's the defense against the quarterback of Nebraska that is just a total unknown.
Yes.
The dude has played in one game in his whole career.
And Nebraska theoretically has nothing to play
for. Absolutely
Frost
nothing.
Is back. There's no bowl game on the line. Iowa has everything to play for. Yeah.
But to be fair, Iowa's not really playing for much either, right?
No, they can have a piece of the Big Ten. No, I mean they if Wisconsin loses to Wisconsin, if Wisconsin loses to Minnesota and Iowa wins the Big Ten.
But the Wisconsin game's later, right?
Yeah. So
they won't know going into the game. Iowa has no idea. They might win and still not make the Big Ten title.
Correct.
So but that's a mind mess right there. That messes with your head.
Right. But I mean, their only chance is by winning this game.
100%. If the line makes no sense, I cannot explain it. Texas and Nebraska, I cannot explain it. But I'll be honest, I guarantee you at least one of those teams covers and wins.
I hear you.
Guarantee that.
That is a stinky.
Teddy, I don't know
but you know what?
You.
Yeah, good.
Oh no, what were you gonna say? You go first.
I was just gonna say real quick, another stinky line last week was, why was USC only getting 3 points at home against UCLA?
But they blew them out.
And exactly. So if you went with, wait, there's something I'm missing here, you would have looked like an idiot because UCLA won by a truckload.
That one I felt a little bit better about with UCLA because of USC's mental state heading into the game, whereas Nebraska's battled. They covered against Michigan, they covered against Ohio State. Nebraska's kind of been in some of these games where USC's just been getting the doors blown.
That's why if Nebraska was getting 4.5 today, you'd say, "Ooh, that's a tough line."
How about this with Martinez? They were laying 3 and a hook. That's even more crazy.
I guess
can't
Iowa is
explain
one of
these
those
games.
teams. Iowa's been undervalued by the betting public all year.
Mhm.
I think that's the case. I mean, even in the first game, I remember going to town with Iowa against Indiana.
Yeah.
And then Iowa against Iowa State. It just seems like it's one of those teams that every week is being undervalued.
They're an ugly team.
Yeah.
We don't like betting on these ugly teams, Teddy, because they're not
I do.
sexy, you know? No, but the general public doesn't. But
Right.
there's some college football games this week. I'll be honest. I'll be glued to my couch to
Jared
see
does
this
these
Nebraska game.
things. Jared does these things, Teddy. I don't know if you ever dumpster dive into some of these games of these teams that like you've never even heard of ever. And Jared does this every single week. He finds these dumpster dive games where he's betting on UTEP.
I got some doozies this week.
Tell me.
UTEP
All right, so
and
you like
points,
UTEP plus 14.
UTEP getting 14. So UAB's coming off that massive letdown game where they could have been in the Conference USA title game. They blew the late lead to UTSA. Now they're facing UTEP, who, by the way, actually is a good analytics this year. Both UTEP and UAB are dead even in net yards per play. 2 touchdowns seems like a lot in a game that means absolutely nothing to both teams. Like either way, both teams are going to go to some crap bowl game somewhere random. So the UTEP, I caught 14 with UTEP. The other one that I really like, this is my favorite game of the week, is North Texas at home against UTSA. UTSA, talk about pressure.
Yes.
The only other undefeated team in college football besides Georgia and Cincinnati. Yep. And they almost lost last week. And North Texas on 6 losses trying to get bowl eligible. They've won 4 games in a row. North Texas catching double digits feels like another play that I really like. At home,
the Mean Green.
The Mean Green.
I mean, how can Teddy Greenstein go against the Mean Green?
That's true.
That name.
Mean
I'm going to join you on both those, man. You've done the research. You've put in the time. So guys,
I appreciate that.
And hopefully Laura can benefit.
The research sometimes means absolutely nothing. I can do research till I'm blue in the face. Once I kick these games off, forget it.
Right. You'll be right in theory, except when after kickoff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, totally. Teddy, are there any games that stand out to you this weekend that you're like, I have to get in on this game?
Well, Lauren, I'm curious about BYU -7 against USC. It's kind of going with the same theory that the Trojans have just packed it in. Don't care, and BYU is a really solid team.
Yeah.
I'm on BYU -7 plus USC's point total under, which I believe is 28.5. Look, Notre Dame -20.5. That's hard to resist considering the Irish win big and cover every single week. Talk about an undervalued team. Like historically, we think of, Notre Dame is so overrated, except this year. When,
they're not overrated.
They slaughter USC and trouts Virginia and Georgia Tech, and every week they're covering these lines. Wisconsin, it's a strange phenomenon this year. You'd think the books would be so wary of all the Notre Dame money pouring in, and somehow they're not. It's happened, I think, 6 weeks in a row. It's amazing.
I know. Well, I'm a big Notre Dame fan too. Also,
interesting.
I know that's weird.
Why?
So my dad and both my brothers went there.
Yeah.
So I've grown up a Notre Dame fan. Then I went against all family values and went to Michigan. So that was a really, I told this story before, like a really weird growing experience for me. One of the first games my freshman year was the first game at the Big House under the lights, Notre Dame taking on Michigan. And I'm like, who do I root for? Who do I root for in this game? It was very, very tough moment. Michigan won like last minute drive. Denard Robinson was the quarterback at the time.
Denard Robinson name drop.
That was amazing. Lauren, I was at a wedding that game. That was one of those things that's like, hey, you coming out to dance? And I don't know if I was watching on my phone, if they had that capability, or if I was in media blackout mode because I was DVRing it. But that's one of the top 5 entertaining games of the series, right? Yeah,
totally. And so all the students run out. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. That was like the moment that I kind of shifted where I'm like, in the head-to-head matchup, I'll root for Michigan. But if they're not playing each other, I am solely fans of Michigan and Notre Dame. So that is how that started. Fun fact. Fair.
She's a split personality, Teddy.
Lauren, have you been making any money on the Irish during this stretch?
I have. Quite a bit, actually.
She's doing really well. Teddy, we keep track of our plays of the day and all the sharp cappers that we have on. She's kicking all of our asses. She's up like 12 units in like 2 months of like what
Here's the thing, Teddy. I do this thing where I really love a good value bet I don't bet on favorites very often.
Yeah, she's a money line dog
I
better.
love my plus money lines. I
Yeah.
love my plus money bets. And because of that, I'm up quite a few units.
She
Can
is.
you give me an upset special this week other than your Wolverines, which I'm not buying?
Yeah, I like Oregon +7 over Oregon State, to be honest with you. I think talk about a difference of emotions and experiences this season for two different football teams. One side, Oregon, they got clobbered by Utah last week as a short underdog. Like, it was kind of hard to watch that game. You put an end to their playoff hopes. They're all bummed. They're disappointed. Oregon State, you look at what they were able to do against Arizona State. I think both teams can still win the Pac-12 North, but Oregon's path is a little bit cleaner. They win and they're in, and they're getting 7 points in this game.
I think you got that line. I think you got that line backwards. It's Oregon's laying 7.
Did I?
Yes.
I meant to,
I was gonna jump on Oregon plus 230. I was gonna say that's pretty good.
I meant -7. I just typed it wrong in my computer.
Do you still like Oregon State?
I do. I like Oregon like 7.
Okay. Oregon
I really like
-7.
them +7.
Yeah, no,
I really
I like them +7 too.
Hey, you can get them at minus.
She had too much
800
turkey last night. She had too much turkey last night.
My God, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Something sounded off. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, there's so many crazy lines this week. It was actually believable. Yeah,
I even typed that in our Google Doc. Like, what am I thinking right now? You guys, what is wrong with me?
It's a vacation day today anyway for PointsBet, so my mind's only going to be half there.
That is a classic. That is classic. That's my favorite. We've been doing the show 2.5 months. That's my favorite moment on the show.
You guys, I'm just having a day right now. I know.
I bring out the best in her. All right, is there any actual money line dog that you got? We got Jared's too. Lauren, you got something?
I'll give you another one. Just as Lauren collects her thoughts.
I'm betting a lot of. This week I'm betting a lot of favorites because I also have Oklahoma State laying 3.5 against Oklahoma. So
I like that pick a lot. I like Oklahoma State a lot.
That is my underdog bet. What'd you say? What do you say, Jared?
I like Oklahoma State a lot this week. I like their defense a lot.
Yeah, the Michigan bet is my underdog bet this week. Yeah, the Michigan bet's my underdog bet this week. I'm also sprinkling the money line, so
that's good.
I like it.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
The other one that I'll point you to, Teddy. Virginia Tech getting 7 in the hook.
Tell me about that one.
I mean, Virginia's got nothing to play for, and Virginia Tech's owned this series. 7 in the hook seems like a lot for that series, and Virginia Tech just came off a game against Miami where they ran for like almost 300 yards. It seems like it's a little bit. I saw it sharpen up to 7. I would still probably play it at 7. I'll give you another dumpster dive one for tomorrow. Tulsa at SMU. I do. I have 2 more dumpster dive one. Actually 3. Tulsa +7 at SMU. Tulsa's coming off a big win over Temple, and they're on 6 losses. They're trying to get bowl eligible. Troy State against Georgia State. Troy's on 6 losses. One of the best rushing defenses in the country. Top 20 rushing defense against a Georgia State team that's 10th in the nation in rushes per game. So I think that's a strength versus strength matchup for Troy, getting almost a full touchdown. Yeah. And then TCU +15.5. Iowa State, what the heck do they have to play for? They've looked brutal in every big game they've played in this year. And that line's huge. TCU on 6 losses trying to get bowl eligible. I love the teams that have 6 losses this week that are the dogs that are trying to get bowl eligible. That's such a great handicap for me. It really is. So a lot of dogs for me this week, actually, which is very rare for me. But
a lot of dogs. Speaking of 2 dogs, there's a dog fight going out in Vegas this weekend.
Nicely done.
It's called the Match V. My guys, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah. Teddy, you're a big golf guy. We're bringing you on to talk a lot of golf. First of all, what's your handicap when you play on the course?
Oh, I'm a 12.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Terrible. Really good I'm like, I've had a couple rounds in the low 80s. My highlight of the year was Paige Sporanic and I had been talking trash for the longest time about having a long drive contest. And she's really good. Like, I mean, she has shot 64 in competition, and she hits it like a tour pro. What held her back was her mind. She'd make a bogey or double bogey and just like completely lose her shit. So anyway, we're in Iowa at a PointsBet VIP golf event, and she hits the first drive, and it was a beauty. And I'm like, God, if I hit my usual weak ass fade, she's going to beat me. So I just went for it and went for like a hook, went for a draw, and beat her by 14 yards. And she,
oh my God,
she probably was not happy. And she's saying, "Oh no." Oh no, because she knows she's never going to hear the end of it. But
Yeah.
enough about my golf. Let's talk about Brooks and Bryson. So the lines here were equal when it came out. First I saw PointsBet was -110 on each side. And then Bryson became a pretty solid favorite at -130. And now it's come back a little more money on Brooksy. So right now, Bryson -120,
Brooksy.
Brooks +100. What's so fun about this guy? So it's a 12-hole event at the Wynn Course in Las Vegas, where coincidentally we had a little PointsBet retreat in July. So it's going to be extra fun for me to watch because I know those holes. And we're offering props on the par threes, par fours, and par fives, like who's going to win more. And then we have the hole by hole performance. So for all 12 holes, I assume right now we have 9 up, but you can bet it hole by hole, which is going to be tremendous. So look, these are, these sort of made for TV ones. I think I've gotten every single one wrong that I've bet. This one, I'm going to go with Bryson, going to go with the theory of who wants it more. Going to take the nerd over the bully. Brooks is probably going to, he's going to be coming. He's going to like hit 6 balls at the range, and he's going to be ready. Whereas Bryson is, analyzed every single green for a week. It means much more to Bryson than it does to Brooks. So that's the working theory. That's where most guys who've analyzed that are taking Bryson. But I think you just watch this for entertainment. You throw a few bucks down here and there. If you think you can properly handicap this and make a big play, I think you're nuts.
Do you think these guys 100% hate each other? Do you think they actually do, or do you think it's for media?
Yeah, I think it started as, certainly Brooks thinks Bryson is a complete tool. And look, Brooks is a faster player and Bryson is, super slow. I mean, one time I think it took 4 minutes to hit a putt. So I think Brooks never hated Bryson, but he's just like, this guy is so annoying. This guy is such a tool. He kind of represents everything that Brooks doesn't. Brooks is a macho guy who, just shows up, hey, give me my number, and then I'm going to swing it. And so I think, I just don't think it was ever hatred. I think a lot of that was built up for the sake of this match.
100%. Totally agree. It's all made for TV. So based on that, if the sharp money's coming in on Bryson, this is an event where I trust the sharps way more than I trust my own handicap. And if the line's moved a little bit, I kind of like Brooks a little bit just because I thought he might get in Bryson's head. But
definitely.
But that I wouldn't make a wager on this, but I would. I'm going to watch it and enjoy it.
But I think the sharp money might be coming in on Brooks just based on now that he's tilted toward Brooks a little bit. Yeah, I think the golfer analyst money, the guys who get paid to really break this down, like Jason Sobel, he's on Bryson.
Who tend to be wrong in the gambling space more often than not.
He's been, I know his golf picks are usually not great, but he has won the last couple of these made for TVs. So I think maybe you play something small on the overall match and you do it as you're watching the hole by hole.
Yeah, you think it's going to be a high handle event? I don't think it is. I would say no. I would bet Ohio State, Michigan gets way more handle.
No question. I do agree. It's still not football, but I was asking our traders a few days ago, are we taking much action on Tiger to win the Masters or Tiger to win a major in 2022? And they said we're taking a lot more on the match.
Interesting.
So I think it's a good handle event, but not a blockbuster.
Agreed.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. That's going to be so much fun to watch this weekend. Also, Teddy, are you tailing the Michigan pick? Just taking it back one more time?
God, not.
Oh, no.
Now that we convinced you, I know you're on Ohio State, but
you and I just should have bet, without the juice. We should probably just throw another, 50 down or something.
I lose every time I go against Lauren in a
here
bet,
for that.
So
you
might be careful, Lauren. You might be careful, Ted.
Lauren, you want how about
Virtual
$50 and you get 7.5? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm in for it.
Wow.
All right, fantastic.
I'm here for
Deal.
Virtual handshake. I'm glad we just solved this. So got a little more to play
no
for
juice,
this weekend,
baby.
boys. I know. Got a little more to play for this weekend, boys. I'm suiting up. Ready
This
to
is
go.
an old school. This is an old school bet. Absolutely, person to person.
For me and Coach, I'm in for it. Teddy, we love having you on. Thank you so much for taking your time out of the day. It's so great to see you, and good luck this weekend. All I got to say is go blue. So,
exactly. We've known each other for almost a year. We're finally doing some stuff together. This was fun. And Jared, great meeting you. And,
appreciate you, Teddy.
For those dumpster picks, man.
You got it.
See you guys.
Senior editor Teddy Greenstein of PointsBet Sportsbook. Appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend. sending luck your way, but not too much luck. So
Exactly.
All right, Jared, we can't end a show without getting to your kick picks. Let's take it over the pond.
Yeah.
This weekend, we have the EPL, English Premier League. Another day of kicks picks.
Love it. Jared's kick picks are back. Actually, it was a profitable week in Champions League. We went 3-2 both days. We hit that parlay, that crazy parlay on Wednesday, which was really fun. 3 picks for Saturday. Wolves money line plus 120. So Wolves are playing Norwich, and Norwich is one of the worst teams in the EPL. They're coming off of 2 straight wins at 2-1, which is impressive with a new manager, Dean Smith. But when I dove into the stats of those games, they were outgunned significantly in the expected goals battle. So they were a little fortunate to win those matches 2-1. Wolves, one of the best teams, one of the biggest surprises, I think, in the EPL this year, coming off a really impressive 1-0 win over West Ham. They've only allowed 12 goals this season. Bruno Lage, their head coach, their manager, doing a really nice job on the defensive side with Wolves. 4th fewest goals allowed in the EPL this year. I think they're going to hold Norwich to 0. And I think Wolves getting plus money on the 3-way money line is a good bet. Brighton money line plus 110. They are at home against Leeds. Leeds United's a high press team, but Brighton excels at kind of absorbing that pressure. And Leeds has a ton of injuries. Their top scorer, Patrick Bamford, is still out. 2 of their top defenders are out. Projected odds here right around Brighton minus 105. So I think at plus money, you're getting a bit of a discount on Brighton. And then one parlay for you. These are 2 of the best teams in the Premier League this year against 2 of the worst teams in the Premier League this year, and both of the best teams are at home. Liverpool at home against Southampton. Arsenal at home against Newcastle. You parlay those money lines together, it's basically a pick 'em minus 106. And again, those are just 2 squads at home that are playing some of the best footy in the league against 2 of the worst. So not a whole lot of sharp handicapping there, just 2 good teams against 2 bad teams, and I expect both of the 2 good teams to win at home. So there you go. Wolves, Brighton, Liverpool, Arsenal money line.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We'll
Stats are for losers. Yeah.
Stats
I
are
like
for
it, Jared.
losers.
Big fan.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah. Stats are for losers. Hey, I got you. All right. Pickswise 3-star play of the day. What we got?
Well, we just told you why Nebraska was like the funkiest line of the week, but Luke Lindholm is going to take the bait with Iowa. I listen, Luke, God bless you if Iowa wins. They certainly should on paper, but something about this line just stinks to high heaven. But Luke does like Iowa minus 1.5 as a 3-star play. And then Tyler Mortimer, one of the newer, actually, I'll give you a couple ones here on the ice tonight. Tyler Mortimer likes the Lightning puck line against the Kraken. And then Chadwick Wetzel likes the Penguins at the Isles. I've got some puck picks as well. I'm on the Devils tonight. I'm on the Canadians tonight, and I'm on the Hurricanes tonight. So Lightning, Penguins, Devils, Canadians, Hurricanes. Those are some of my 3-star plays and the 3-star plays from Pickswise.com today on the ice.
Are any of those your best bet of the weekend or day?
So I'm going to also kind of take the bait with one of these fishy lines. The Texas line makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Kansas State is a solid team this year. They're bowl eligible already, though, and they have nothing to play for. Texas is on 7 losses. They have nothing to play for. There's no reason why Texas should be favored in this game. And I heard a little, birdie out in Vegas last night tell me that they're taking some sharp money out on Texas. So sharp money's coming in on Texas. The line's moving in Texas's favor, but most of the handles on Kansas State, and Kansas State shouldn't be an underdog if you look at the, the basic numbers in this game. But when these lines kind of tell you stories, I like to read them. And I'll go against what every, statistic says, and I'll trust the market here, and I'll lay 2.5 with Texas. I'm seeing it right around minus 115, minus 120 on FanDuel. I'm seeing the line come down a little bit too. So you can get Texas minus 2.5. And I'm backing the Longhorns at home today. I've won. I don't feel good about this pick because Texas has been so bad, but I just have to trust the market. I have to trust the market.
Yeah, I know. I'm trusting the market. I'm also trusting my heart. Michigan plus 7.5. That's my play of the day. Play of the weekend, I guess you should say.
Yeah.
But I told you why. I just think that Michigan's defense is going to be one of the strongest, most physical that Ohio State has faced all season. I don't think they're going to shut Ohio State's offense down, but I do think that they're going to slow them down. And then I think that Michigan's run game, between Haskins, Corum, everybody, they're going to be able to take advantage of Ohio State, even though Ohio State's defense is pretty good too. But I think that as long as Michigan doesn't fall behind, they have a really good chance to win this game outright, and they're getting 7.5 points. So I'm sprinkling it on the money line. That's not my best bet, though. Michigan plus 7.5 is my best bet. And we're going with it. Let's go. Let's
Good
go,
luck.
Blue baby.
I will tell you on this. I think Michigan's
Love
the
to
right
see it.
side here. I think Michigan. Everyone is on Ohio
And they're
State.
at home in the big house. There's a lot of momentum riding on this game. They haven't won in 10 years. The first time in the last 5 years that they're both in the top 5 playing against each other. There's just a lot behind this game. And I think
There
it's going to
is.
be, this is the year. It's been 10 years, Jared. It's been 10
We said that about the
years.
Lions this week too, and it wasn't the week.
You know what? I still won my bet.
We did cover.
Until I lost.
How about the Lions? 0-10-1 straight up, 7-4 against the spread this year. That just shows you why gambling is the great equalizer. In the gambling space, the Lions are a great team. In the normal real world space, the Lions are the worst team in football. Gambling is that's why we love it.
You love to see it, or you hate to see it. Good teams win, great teams cover, as our producer Jack.
The Lions are a great team, but not a good team. Explain that to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. We're a great team, not a good team. What do you say?
We're the best team. Happy Thanksgiving, Pickswise
that's
Nation.
it for us today.
Cheers.
We'll be back with you tomorrow. We got a lot of college football picks heading into tomorrow. We're breaking it all down, so make sure to tune in 10 a.m. Eastern time. Like, subscribe, comment so you don't miss out for a single second. Go to the Pickswise YouTube channel. Follow us at pickswise.com. Jared Smith, Lauren Javara. Have a great one tonight, guys. Happy Friday. Happy Black Friday. Good luck getting all the sales in. Let's get it. Let's bet it.